Today's Sattva Restore practice is going to be one of supported Cobra pose. So I love this one. It's great for our immune system, even our bone health. And it just is contraindicated if you have head or neck injuries recently. Otherwise, it can actually help with those. So you may need extra support or a little less of a lift here with this pranayama bolster. So you might need just a blanket underneath the lower ribs and then a blanket under the head. Or if you want to go more extreme with it, then we can use the pranayama bolster. So you will stretch out your legs. Some teachers will even strap the legs together for you if they're really flopping open. So we're closing off the lower energy body and just allowing the blood, the focus, the breath to flow into the upper body. And then we'll start to help ourselves back down over this bolster. And it should hit right at your lower ribs so that your shoulders can still go back to the floor. So if they can't go back to the floor, or if you feel like your ribs are sticking up and your tailbone is moving back into this lordotic curve, then you'll want just a little less of a lift here. So something that's a little lower. Then you can always snuggle the head with that blanket, kind of curl it under. And you don't want to have this in your low back, so this is actually a little bit much for me. I'm going to use the blanket instead. So we always need to adapt, adjust, accommodate for what we're feeling on a particular day. So I'm going to roll up the blanket. And once again, come back so that it can be right at the rib cage, just like when we would feel our Cobra pose, expanding and breathing into the chest. And then my shoulders are down. My chin is relaxed in. We don't want to have a really open throat here. And then once we settle into this, we can hold this shape or be in the shape for about 3 to 5 minutes. Let your shoulder blades relax. And we just focus on allowing our breath to be. So the chest, the heart is more expanded in this shape. So you'll probably just notice that rising of the breath. That is the PranaYoga. This enhances our life force energy, our enthusiasm, improves our mood, our circulation, and like I said before, our bone health and our immune system. So that's why you want to have the shoulders pressing down. There's marma points back there. And if they're floating up off the floor, you're not going to get that benefit. So just allowing yourself to be in this surrendered shape. As if you were falling back into the grace of the beloved. Let your head be heavy. Soften that space between the ribs and the pubic bone. Letting your legs be heavy. So every part of you is grounded and held, but there's this expansive quality across the chest and heart. Improving our breath capacity. So if you practice in a more subtle way like I am with just the blanket, it actually can be really useful for improving our lung capacity, even with COPD patients. Once we get into too much of a curve, if we put ourselves up on too big of a bolster, we're working more of the spinal health, which is great, but it sticks with mainly the physical body rather than that organ level that we like to practice with Sattva Restore. Just imagine the sun shining on your face, your heart, down your arms to the palms of the hands and the fingertips. You can stay here for another several minutes or roll off to the side in fetal position. Just letting your head rest on your bottom arm. And then coming up slowly. And as you come up, you may just need to ground down. Sometimes our blood pressure will lower as we go into these restorative poses. That's a really good posture for turning off the stress response, but still feeling light and energized. Have a beautiful day. Namaste, everybody.